Hi Sparkles of Light, this is CherryEnchantress and this is your daily dust for Sunday, March 24th if you're watching in real time, but it can also be for whenever you stumble upon it. It's also a timeless reading. I am doing a Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle series here, and so our first card is Dragon's Pet. Communication between species, animals, pets, magical companions, and guardianship. Far, far away, creative dreaming. And Little Boy Blue, dreams come true, return of the soul. So it's a very dreamy kind of day. Being in your daydreams, sometimes being able to just be in the present so well that your mind drifts in this kind of neutral space. You know that space you get to where you're not thinking anything, and that's very rare, but it happens, right? Right before bed or it's just this kind of this space between the conscious and the subconscious, and that's where you may hear a conversation between you and your pet, possibly. But sometimes you can tap into a spiritual connection with other beings because of that neutral space, especially when you're in a little bit of a dreamy place in your mind, when you're not super conscious of a daily grind and a lot of work to do and things like that. You know, you can find that space in lots of places, spiritual places, meditation. I've even had that interesting phenomenon happen to me at choir rehearsal, practicing before church, and it's just, you know, it's interesting where they come from. These kind of it almost feels like super consciousness or something, like a real high consciousness. That one felt that time that I'm speaking of felt like I could see multiple dimensions all at once. It was really interesting. That one wasn't specifically communicating with pets or other species, but it did have an otherworldly feeling to it. And the otherworldly thing is kind of helpful when you need to daydream for creative projects and things. So let your mind explore a little bit, especially if you're artistic of some kind. But if you're not, this still can help in so many areas of your life, especially if you're trying to manifest something into your life. You can use this creative daydreaming to help you with your visualization and attract and manifest the thing that you want. And today could be one of those relaxed days where your mind has more ability, is more able to formulate a creative idea than it is on other days. Other days, it just might not be as easy. You know, sometimes we get like writer's block, or sometimes it's just the real world is so strong that the dream world we just don't have time for it, you know. But today might be a different one of those days, and your creative juices are really flowing, and you really can get into a project if you want to, or at the very least, make some notes so you're able to get into this project later when you have time. But I feel like today is a kind of a day that you could have some time to do something like that if you're interested in that. So I'm going to get a little bit more detail on each card, but not a lot. The Dragon's Pet is 42, the answer, in case anybody out there watches The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or read, I should say, but I think they made a movie of it too. Actually, I think I watched it. So there's somebody coming close to you. You may be talking to fairies, possibly, or a fairy's talking to you, you don't even realize it. But you're moving into their realm a little bit deeper. It could be just the simplest things that you do, especially if it's working in your yard or garden in any way. The fairies are keeping an eye and getting excited, especially when they smell the fresh of dirt and the smell of fresh dirt and grass and flowers. That's very appealing to the fairies, and so they keep an eye on you. And so you may come across them, you may hear whisperings, you may feel like you're connecting with them in a psychic way. The fairies, they don't own anything, land, flowers, fields, or things. It's just how they see themselves. You know, it's their embodiment. They embody the earth, kind of like Mama Gaia. But they're like sprouts or shoots or magical lights of the earth, you know. But also fairies do have a connection with Papa Sky, so they're cosmic too. I consider myself kind of cosmic, and but I am connected to nature. So it's kind of like it's sort of the marriage between Mama Gaia and Papa Sky that kind of creates this fairy energy. And so that's how you might feel that you can connect to the other animals. You may end up talking to a squirrel or something. I'm just hearing that in my mind for some reason. But there could be also like an actual, you know, pet that's keeping an eye on you too, like a watchdog, literally a watchdog, or an animal, or a plant, or spider creating a web. I had a spider that would make a web every morning. It's almost as if I'm protecting you from harm, kind of. And I was sad that I had to break it just to drive my car out of the parking lot. But it was almost like the spider was protecting me overnight. And then in the morning I had to break the web to get to work. But little things like that, you know, they have sort of a kind of magic, that sweet protection, that sweet energy. You could be hearing dog barks. I've been hearing a lot of dog barks. And sometimes plants wither, especially if a certain person has come by. And they're all like messages from your companions and allies. And the fairies communicate with them all the time. I had a really hardy aloe vera. It was like weathering all the winter weather in Texas. And then for some reason, it just plopped out of nowhere. It was very interesting. But I did have a visitor that might have done that. Anyway, so just kind of keep in tune with your environment and let it be sort of a guide of who's protecting you, and be aware that your environment also reacts to a negative energy too if they come around. So keep an eye on that. But your fairy friends and your pets and all of the creatures in the forest and all the creatures in the land will help keep a watchful eye too. Even if you live in a small like apartment or something, there's still plenty of that natural energy nearby that could be keeping a particular watch on you. And then we have far, far away. This is the creative dreaming I was talking about. Don't be embarrassed if you feel like you have to daydream, or if you're a little fuzzy or a little distant, because sometimes it's necessary for our creativity to spur. And it also helps you allow messages to come through way easier. And you may be understanding really a lot more than you actually realize. Others may say you have a lack of focus and that you feel disconnected, but don't be distracted by your ego. Just realize that it's enriching and important, but also at the same time, don't let it, overwhelm you so much that you can't even do your mundane tasks. I mean, it's important to have a little bit of a balance too. But the earth element is very strong here, and there's a beauty that's about to blossom from your creations, from the things that you make, because you have had this chance and ability to dream it up and make it real. You know what I've been hearing a lot in my mind in the past week? If you build it, they will come. And if you haven't seen that movie Field of Dreams, it's a very inspirational movie. It's done a while back, starring Kevin Costner, who was the heartthrob in those days. Now he's an older man, but he's still kind of a heartthrob. Anyway, but the movie had a really good message, and it's something to take into consideration. It's not like, I'll wait to do this dream when I have blah, blah, blah. Instead, do the reverse. I'll have blah, blah, blah because I'm starting my dream. You just start it. You start it whether you have whatever, and then they will come, or the abundance will appear, or whatever you're hoping for comes out of it, will come out of it. I think it's more important, it's not so much important that like monetary success, although that's definitely possible, but I feel like the success that you feel is going to be quite exciting and quite enriching, and it's going to make you feel like daydreaming is not such a bad thing because your dreams are going to come true. So, return of the soul, little boy blue. This is all about hope and promise and things being reborn in your life. This baby brings you innocence and trust and hope, that the proof that there are beautiful new things in this world, and they have not been conditioned into unbelieving. This is a new incarnation, either of a new soul being brought in around you, or a chance to be reborn without passing. Your chance to become as a child again and be born anew with the physical return to source this time. So this baby also brings union. People of all kinds and different worlds can be drawn together peacefully and live and feel happy and safe together. And this baby represents a new world that we can all be born into with our intuitive possibilities. And this will grow us stronger because we're in the realm of the intuitive. This is going to be a time for fast growth and incredible development. So babies have a way about them, right? They're so beautiful and innocent, and yet so miraculous and so much potential. So just feel happy, light. Your hopes are going to be given form, right? Everything that came in this faraway dreaming is going to formulate now into a tangible feeling, a tangible thing, a tangible world. New projects are coming into the world as discovery of a gift. Even if you are interested in having babies or children, that's possible too. Let go of the old concepts and the ideas that no longer serve. Life is coming, approaching life, and approach it. Like the joy of life is coming towards you, but also you meet it. Like approach life with an open heart of a child. This card represents someone who is at home with their sensitivity and their psychic abilities, and who's able to help the world simply through being themselves and who they are at their core, and using their beautiful innate intuitive talents. And there you have it. You are you, and don't apologize if you're kind of a dreamer. I feel a lot of Pisces out there and a lot of other water signs mixed in, whether and sun, moon, or rising, wherever your dreaming influence comes from. It could be that you have a lot of placements in the 12th house like me, and I often am in the dream world, but I try to take the things that I learned there and put them to practical use. One of the strangest things is my moon in Virgo in the 12th house of dreams. So I have this very practical, feels like Alice in Wonderland in a world that's sometimes hard to understand, but I do my best in this world, and I try to turn it around and bring practical solutions and ideas to you guys. So that's how I turn the thing around, and I create artwork using all that creativity and images that dance through my head, and then I turn it into a physical thing. And those are ways that you can manifest what you want into the tangible physical world as well. And it's not just, I'm saying, if you don't feel like you have a talent per se, talent doesn't have to be art or singing or dancing or something like that. Talent is in many forms, and I feel like you have it, and you're bringing about your amazing abilities into light and making something beautiful and tangible for the world to see. And I hope you like that. Okay, trust in pixie dust.